Welcome to Who Digs. I'm looking at changing this really old shed here into my man cave. Every man dreams of having their own personal space, somewhere just to dump all your rubbish and sit, relax, listen to a bit of music and so on. So I've got this shed here. I've had it for probably about 10 years. It's a 10 by 6 foot shed, so there's not going to be an awful lot of room inside. Probably just enough for a little bit of seating, little sort of cupboard workshop area, and then obviously a little bit of storage, because I do have quite a few bikes as well that need a little bit of a home. So I'll just show you inside. Currently what we have, this shed here, is this. So I am faced with the monumental task of emptying this shed. I'm going to insulate all the walls. It needs a new roof. It's got a little bit of a leak on the roof, so over the winter it does get a little bit damp on the roof, so I'm going to change the roof to a rubber roof. But a lot of the materials I'm going to use are going to be recycled, so I've managed to get hold of a load of insulation panels off Facebook Marketplace, really cheap. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a OSB left over from some jobs I had done on a porch. But yeah, I just want to make it sort of my little space, somewhere for me to come and hide out, escape from the kids, escape from the wife, and so on. And also just have like my own little chill area, invite the lads round, have a few beers in here. But no, it's not an awfully big space. I'd love a much bigger shed. I've probably got room for a bigger shed, but at the moment funds probably wouldn't allow a bigger shed. So this is what we'll have to make do with. Hopefully I can make it quite a nice little area to come sit. Eventually when my kids are a little bit older, hopefully they'll like to come up here, chill out with their friends and so on. But there is so much rubbish in this shed. I think at the moment in here I've probably got 4 bikes in here, golf clubs, chop saws, a couple of tents as well, so I need to try and lose my tent. Yeah, it's just become a bit of a dumping ground for all my bits and pieces, but I'd like to make it a more usable space. So first main task I've got to empty this thing now. It's going to take hours. Luckily sun's shining, nice dry day, not too bad, so let's get emptying. So I'm not going to show you the whole of this, might be a little bit boring. I'm going to get the rest of this shed hopefully empty, be able to get in there, see what we're working with, go play with the spiders and stuff like that, so bear with me. So I've managed to empty a bit of it. I'm not going to empty all of it, just because I don't have alternative storage available to me, and I've only got a couple of hours to do this today. But I've managed now to be able to get all the way into this corner here. A little bit of damp in that corner where I've had a big tent sitting. Got a few sort of open cracks where the wood shrunk on the walls, but I can fill that in. But what I'm probably going to start with is tackling this roof. I've got my insulation, I'm just going to do it. Hopefully that's going to keep a little bit of the heat out. It's the foil-backed insulation boards that, as I said, I managed to get off Facebook Marketplace for free. So this isn't going to be a permanent building. It's not going to be somewhere where I'm going to be living. I just want it to be either not too hot or not too cold in the winter if I'm ever out here. Amazing how much stuff is in here, how much rubbish I've accumulated over the years. I'm going to have to make a few runs to the tip, maybe stick a few little bits on Facebook Marketplace myself. A little chop saw down there that once I finish with that I'll probably stick on there. Still a tent in here, Hoover, my really old trusty stereo. I'm going to see if that still works later on, but who knows. But yeah, so I managed to take these doors off here as well. As you can see, a little bit of a water damage where it's coming through the roof. It's got the chipboard all wet, and that's now all bent and horrible. But as I said before, amazing the amount of stuff that I've managed to accumulate over the years and just hidden away in this shed. Got a slight little sort of, not problem with the floor, but it does actually slope down a little bit on the floor. Nothing too much to worry about. As I say, it's just going to be somewhere for me to retreat to, get away from the wife, kids, come and relax, hopefully set these bad boys up, sit in here with a little bit of music, and yeah, a couple of beers, relax and chill. As you can see, I've already taken loads of stuff out of the shed already. I'm going to put that back in a little bit later, just overnight, and then start again tomorrow. So as you can see, I've managed to board the ceiling, use that 25mm board that I managed to get off Facebook Marketplace, and gone through one roll of aluminium tape at the moment. Run out of tape now, so I'm going to have to get some more tape. Just managed to do these little bits here, cut the bits for this side. I've got a big board and a few bits left, and then I'm going to have to take all of this out so I get to the panel behind. But that's probably it for today. No more for today. Now I've got to put half of that stuff that I put out in the garden back in the shed again, just so it stays sort of dry and doesn't get too damp overnight. And then tomorrow take it all back out again and carry on with the next bit. Here we are. Didn't really want to bore you with all of the putting the insulation in all the panels, but every single wall has insulation on it now, apart from this back wall, back door here doesn't have any yet. Once I did that, I've used 3 rolls of tape as well to go over the insulation, so the aluminium foil. So that's cost me about £15. Lucky enough to be able to find some more of this stuff on a Facebook Marketplace, so more OSB board. Picked it up, it turned out it was actually someone I knew was getting rid of it, which was quite handy. So it's been just about enough to be able to clad all the walls. I did have an original panel just on here, which I managed to use for part of the roof. Another bit of OSB board that I did have left over was this bit up the top here, and it was the same thickness, luckily enough. So all the walls are now boarded. They're all insulated. Still need to do the roof, but since I put the insulation in, it hasn't leaked. I did go up there the other day as well with a little bit of sealant and went over a few of the holes. But yeah, all of this is now lined, ready to go. In this back corner here is where I'm going to have my seats. I'm going to have a bench seat this side and then one on this side as well. Dartboard up on that back wall just up there. Underneath that, the telly as well. I've got a bracket that came out of my son's room, which I'm going to fasten so I can move that telly out of the way whenever we're playing darts. This corner here looks a little bit messy, but this is basically where I'm going to have my built-in cupboard with a little shelf here as a little workbench, and I can store all the tools in here. One of these IKEA units, I do have another one in the loft. Again, that came out of my son's bedroom. I'm going to stack another one on top, and then I'm going to get those boxes, chuck everything there, hide it all away, and then all will be good. As for the walls, at the moment it's undecided. Do I just paint them? I did think about getting some of that carpet that you use for vans and lining the top half of the wall. I have got some old pallets that I took apart, so I don't know whether to do a little bit of cladding just above it, just above the seating area or just below the seating area. Not quite decided yet, but yeah, it's getting there. It's been about 3 weeks of just doing a couple of hours on a Sunday. Busy life, like kids doing football, tennis and so on, but we're slowly getting there. Yeah, so only thing I have to do now is put everything back in the shed that I took out. Hopefully next time, once I've built some storage, I'll actually have somewhere to put it and I won't have to keep taking stuff in and out again, which is a little bit time consuming. But yeah, it is getting there very, very slowly. But yeah, starting to turn into something. As we can see, we've got the back wall here all done. It's a little bit patchy in the panels, but I had to try and use the wood I had to try and make it fit. So yeah, overall pleased. Only other costs I've had is this wall here. I did actually run out of insulation, so I picked up some of this, I think they call it Jabber flooring from Wicks insulation. I just stuck some of that in there. As I said, I'm not going to be living in it. It's going to be every now and then I might come out here, so it's mainly to keep the heat out in the summer and maybe give me a little bit of warmth in the winter, but I wasn't too concerned about being fully insulated. And as I said, all that other insulation that I had was off marketplace as well, so it was all free anyway. So it cost me probably £30 for that insulation. I've still got enough to fill the door in, and then, as I say, about £15 for the tape and about another £5 on screws. So far in, I'm about £50 in, which to get to this stage, not too bad. Yeah, so a little bit more work, a few more weekends.